Have you ever watched someone lose everything they cared about and still find the strength to smile? Not a fake smile. A real one. The kind that says, "I've been through the fire, and I'm still standing." This isn't a story about avoiding pain. It's about what happens after. What happens when sadness crashes over you like a wave, and how one man rose from the wreckage, piece by piece. If you've ever felt broken, stay with me. Because this story might just change how you see your darkest days. Meet Ethan. He was 42, living in a quiet coastal town where every street corner held a memory, good and bad. A former high school music teacher, he was known by students as Mr. E, the kind of teacher who never gave up on a kid, even when they gave up on themselves. His classroom had always been full of laughter, rhythm, and second chances. But 3 years ago, everything started to crumble. His wife, Emma, his high school sweetheart, was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. They tried everything. The chemo, the diets, the prayers. But in the end, cancer didn't ask for permission. It simply took. Within 8 months, she was gone. And with her went the music. Ethan stopped teaching, stopped playing. He stopped laughing. He barely spoke to anyone. And every morning, he'd walk to the same bench by the sea, sit for an hour, and just stare. The world kept spinning. But Ethan? He was stuck in pause. It was like the soundtrack of his life had gone mute. He tried distracting himself, fixing old furniture, replanting the garden, even volunteering at the local library. But nothing filled the hollow echo that now lived inside his chest. People offered kind words, casseroles, invitations, but none of it reached him. When you lose the one person who was your mirror, your home, your melody, no amount of kindness from the outside can repair the silence within. He'd walk through grocery aisles in a daze, standing for long minutes in front of the pasta shelf, forgetting what he came for. Music in cafes felt like noise. Laughter on the street felt like a language he no longer understood. He wondered if this numbness was permanent, if the man he used to be had died alongside her. Grief isn't loud. Not after the funeral ends. It's quiet. It creeps into your coffee cup, your pillow, your footsteps. Ethan would smile at neighbors, not at strangers, but inside. He was empty. He tried grief counseling once, but the words felt hollow. Move on, they said. She'd want you to be happy. Maybe, but that didn't change the silence in the house. Or the toothbrush still sitting by the sink. The echoes of a life once shared still clung to every corner. Then one morning, something strange happened. He found an envelope on the bench where he sat every day. No name, just a sketch of a treble clef drawn on the front. Inside, a short note in pencil. You changed my life. I hope you haven't forgotten how much your music matters. Play again, even if just for you. No signature. No clue who wrote it. Ethan blinked. He hadn't picked up his guitar in over 2 years. His hands trembled just thinking about it. But something about that note, it cracked a window. The next morning, he walked past the bench, back home, and pulled the old guitar case from the closet. Dusted it off. The strings were rusty. His fingers clumsy. But he played, not a song. Just chords, sounds, noise even. But it was real. That night he cried, not from sadness, from release. Over the next few days, Ethan started walking through his town differently. He noticed colors again. The smell of salt in the air, the laughter of kids near the pier. The things grief had muffled were getting louder. He played for himself at first, alone in the living room, then outside, softly on the porch. Until one evening, a teenage boy from next door leaned over the fence and said, "Hey, Mr. E, that sounded kinda awesome." Ethan smiled. For the first time, it reached his eyes. Still, doubt whispered, what if it's temporary? What if the pain floods back? And it did sometimes. On Emma's birthday, when he saw a woman with her smile. When he walked past the hospital, the grief returned in waves. But now he had something to hold on to when the wave came. Music. his guitar became his anchor. It didn't erase the pain, but it gave it a place to live. Then came another note, this time placed on his porch. Saturday, the park. Play something? That's all it said. Handwritten. No name again. Ethan debated it all night. What if nobody came? What if they did? What if he froze, or worse, what if the tears came again mid-song? But Saturday arrived, and he went. He brought a fold-out chair and a thermos of tea, sat up under a tree in the town square, opened his case, and just started. At first, only a few people passed by. One woman stopped. Then an older couple sat on a nearby bench. A kid on a bike circled twice and slowed to listen. It wasn't a concert. It was a moment. Raw, imperfect, real. After the second song, a man stepped forward. You played that at graduation, 10 years ago. I still remember. Then a girl, maybe 15, whispered, my dad died last year. I haven't heard a song that made me cry in a long time, until now. Ethan looked around and saw not strangers, but humans holding invisible losses like him. And in that moment, he realized, by playing again, he wasn't just remembering Emma. He was giving others permission to feel too. That evening, he lit a candle by the bench and placed a note of his own. For anyone sitting here feeling alone, you're not. More notes began to appear. Small folded papers, poems, lyrics, thank yous, even confessions. The town had silently joined his healing. And Ethan, once buried in sorrow, became the quiet light others gathered around. He often thought about the people around him, those who wore smiles but hid silent storms within. Ethan began to notice that almost everyone was carrying something, a loss, a dream deferred, an invisible scar. The more he opened up, the more others did too. A simple nod on the street became a meaningful conversation. And in those moments, he discovered something profound. Healing isn't loud. It's found in tiny acts of courage. A wave to a stranger, a strum of a guitar, a decision to step out into the light even when the darkness clings. He started writing again too, not music this time, but letters, to Emma. He wrote about his day, his fears, his hopes. He never mailed them, of course. But placing those letters on the windowsill gave him peace. It was his way of still including her in his journey. The weight of grief hadn't disappeared. It never really does. But now it had companions, purpose, connection, and a gentle strength that surprised him. And maybe, just maybe, he was becoming someone new, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. So, whenever you feel sad, really sad, I want you to remember Ethan's story, because sadness doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've loved, you've cared, you've lived. And yes, it hurts, but that pain, it also points to what matters most. Sometimes, the way out isn't to run from sadness, but to sit with it. Feel it, let it carve new space inside you, for growth, for music, for love again. You don't have to be okay right now. But please, don't give up on the part of you that still wants to sing. Maybe today it's a whisper, tomorrow a hum. One day, it'll be a melody again. And one day, someone else, sitting in the dark, will hear that melody and find their way back too. If this story moved something in you, if it reminded you that even in sadness there is beauty, then don't just scroll away. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more life wisdom stories like this one. We're building a space for people like you, real people, with real emotions, on real journeys. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and take care.